And we're back on the SportsMax Zone. We turn our focus now to cricket. India beat West Indies by 7 wickets in the third T20 International at Warner Park in St Kitts to take a 2-1 lead in their 5-match series. After being asked to bat first, West Indies compiled 164 for 5 from their 20 overs, with Kyle Mayers top scoring with 73 of 50 balls. Alzari Joseph with 2 for 35 was the pick of the Indian bowlers. India in reply reached their target of 165 for the loss of 3 wickets with 6 balls to spare. Surya Kumar Yadav top scored with 76. Scores in the match: West Indies 164 for 5, India 165 for 3. While speaking after the match, West Indies captain Nicholas Pooran slightly cast blame on the pitch for the team's performance. I felt that we had to get early wickets, didn't happen. We felt we had enough. India bowled well, Ashwin and Hardik bowled well. They used the pitch well. Wicket was on the slower side. Was happy with 165 and felt we were in the game. Meanwhile, winning captain Rohit Sharma suggested his team adapted quickly to the nature of the pitch. We used the condition and our variations really well, and then how we chased. It was quite clinical. When you watch it from the outside, you felt there wasn't much risk taken. When you are chasing a target like that, anything can happen. It was not an easy target, and the pitch had something for the bowlers. It was important for us to pick the right shots off the right balls. So late night turn to you now, because West Indies, of course, batting first, making a total of 164, as I said a short while ago. There was no way that, that was enough runs if India was going to be batting second.
Yeah, they left a few runs on the board. When you look at what happened in the middle overs after they got a really solid start again from Kyle Mayers and Brandon King, opening. Brandon King threw his wicket away, I thought. And then the scoring rate slowed tremendously in those middle overs, which I think additional 20 runs would have made this match a lot more interesting. And to the point that the Indian captain made about adjusting, it's something that I think the West Indies could learn something from.
Because we fail to adapt anytime.
There is no sense. We're not good enough, shifting.
It's like we plan for one thing,
and if it doesn't happen,
we do that.
Yeah, they run into a rut, and that's the problem. Because had they just the same way the Indians use the bowlers, you heard him say when they were batting, you pick the right shots for the right balls. The West Indies the batters don't do that well enough. They often pick the wrong balls to try to hit and eventually get out. And the bowlers don't seem to be able to adapt to the conditions well enough to restrict the Indian batsmen. I saw Yadav playing some shots today they were first-class shots, but they were, but in here in Jamaica, and I think across the Caribbean, there's this phrase about stoning your bat, and that's exactly what some of our bowlers were doing. They made no significant adjustment to try to compensate for what the Indian batsmen were trying to do, and I think that's where the West Indies lost the match today.
All right, well, joining us now to review the third match is international cricket commentator Fazeer Mohammed. Good afternoon, Fazeer. Well, Fazeer is frozen, and we're going to bring him back, and then we'll talk.
Yes, I was wondering why he was looking that grumpy. He's frozen.
Maybe he's upset at the result that we saw today.
I don't think Fazeer is kind of like me. Those things don't get you upset anymore.
Yeah.
Because, look, one of the things that I find amazing, and it's something that has been going on for years now, the West Indies rarely ever get their bowlers and batsmen to perform in tandem. Sometimes when the bowlers do well, the batsmen do poorly, and vice versa. And that's always been the issue.
It's inconsistency. We've spoken about that one word for a very long time when we're talking about the West Indies.
And I think Faz is back with us now.
All right, Faz?
Yes, good to be on the show once again. I do apologize. The internet is a bit unstable. We've had some issues with what appears to be the sabotage of some telephone lines over the course of the long weekend, and that presents a challenge. So if it drops off again, I do apologize.
Okay.
Understood. It happens here too.
All right, Faz. So we're going to get back now to business. West Indies, of course, not putting enough runs on the board today, 164. There was no way that we thought India couldn't have chased that with ease.
Yeah, and I think, Leighton touched on a couple of important points. the fact of the matter is the Indian cricketers are more world-wide. Many of them have played Test cricket, they've played one-day cricket, they've played T20 cricket. We heard from Surya Kumar Yadav talking about the benefit of playing IPL. And it's sort of like, upending the script. Because when T20 first came on the scene, early 2000, 2003, when there was the English T20, many people said, well, this is going to destroy Test match batting. You're actually seeing from the Indians, and David Warner of Australia is a classic example as well, that you can excel in T20, but if you have that solid foundation, the fundamentals of the game that will allow you to play Test cricket and one-day cricket, you can still excel in the T20 format. So the fact of the matter is, you're quite right. 164 was never really going to challenge India unless they batted badly. So we really shouldn't be surprised by the result.
But what has been a good surprise is Kyle Mayers, and of course the effort that we've seen from him. I have to say he bats very mature. What did you make of his batting approach?
We've talked about this already as far as Kyle Mayers at Test level, at one-day international level, and now at T20 level. I think he is the sort of cricketer who you would like to see really go on to excel in all formats because, one, he has the self-belief. Two, he is the type of player who is not necessarily reckless about his stroke play, but is positive about it. And in the T20 format, he has the power to go with it. And yes, sometimes the strokes can look agricultural in the T20 format. But if you've got the fundamentals, if you've got what is often called that solid base, which is just a latter-day way of saying that you've got the basics right as a cricketer, head still, eye on the ball, generally playing with a straight bat and not swiping at everything, you are going to succeed. And I think what you're seeing from Kyle Mayers is someone who spent a lot of time playing in the regional game and has had that hunger to get that opportunity. Remember, you're just talking about a year and a half of him as an international cricketer. And he's clearly showing that appetite and that ability, that same point that was raised about adaptation. He's willing and learning very quickly and being able to adapt to the various requirements.
Yeah.
Fazeer, in the middle overs today, the West Indies got off to a very good start. Brandon King and Kyle Mayers gave them a nice little platform. And then Brandon King got out. And then the scoring rate slowed from just about 7 runs and over to just under 6, I think it was, during that period, where the run rate fell to 6.5, I think by the 15th or 16th over. But when you look at the match, on the face value of what was going on the field, Indians weren't doing anything different in terms of the bowling. What do you think caused that sudden halt in the scoring rate? Because there were, the openers were rotating the strike pretty decently, and of course hitting the boundaries when the balls, presented themselves. But inexplicably, the scoring rate just fell precipitously.
Let's give credit to the Indians because obviously it would have been about setting your field, bowling properly, bowling the right lines. Hardik Pandya had a very good 4 overs to bring back the scoring rate down. But really more than anything else, and I think this is why when you listen to Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, he didn't sound at all disappointed with that loss yesterday. Mm-hmm. And basically what he's saying, if you heard him from the start of this T20 series, he is saying that they are trying out something. And that something is to go at 100 miles per hour from ball 1 to ball 120 plus whatever additional deliveries. And they believe that this is the way you have to go. Yeah. There's no middle overs. There's no cooling off period. There's no settling down. If you've got 6 wickets down, number 8 and number 9 will still be blazing away because that is how they want to play T20 cricket. And I think it might be right. In most cases, it might be wrong on occasion because you never know what could happen on the big occasion. Remember, India didn't get past the group stage in the last World T20, just like the West Indies. But clearly, they have the players with the quality, they have the confidence, they have the captain who is giving his players free rein. That's what you heard from Yadav. He's basically saying that he was more or less told, you just go out there and beat the cover of this ball. If you get out, you get out. No big deal. But that is what we want you to do. And that reflects a level of confidence in the Indian setup that I don't think we have that level of confidence in the depth of our batting when we talk about the West Indies at this stage.
And further to that as well is the inconsistency, the issue of inconsistency, because as I was mentioning to Maria while you were frozen, is that it never seems as if we're able to get the bowling and the batting to work in tandem. It's always one or the other. Why do you think that happens so consistently for the West Indies?
I mean, I could only paraphrase the late great Tony Cozier. The one thing that the West Indies are consistent about is inconsistency. And he was saying that long before he...
And he's frozen again. But yeah, but it's
I get the point, though.
It's troubling that the West Indies are not able to get their bowlers and batters on the same page, in the same matches all the time. And it's concerning, because if you want to win trophies, you're going to have the bowlers back the batters and vice versa. And we've not been able to see that from the West Indies for some time now.
No, we've been singing the same song over and over. I have to say, though, Leighton, and we need to give him his credit, Obed McCoy yesterday.
He was brilliant yesterday.
Brilliant with the ball, 6 for 17. And, we didn't get to discuss it because yesterday was a holiday. But, another youngster who's coming up and, of course, showing that he has what it takes, but it goes back to the inconsistency, because today, a lot of confidence. We're feeling as if, when Obed gets the ball, but that didn't happen. No wickets.
Yeah,
today.
because I think what happened just today as opposed to yesterday, I think the Indian batsman made that adjustment.
Yes.
It's one of the things that we were discussing just now with Fazeer. The fact is that they're able to adjust while we seem a little bit more slow off the mark in terms of making those necessary adjustments. Because one of the things that Obed McCoy is good at, he has a variety of deliveries, and he uses them very, very, he uses them very well, put it that way. He uses slower ball, he has that ball that cuts across the batsman. He has a whole repertoire of deliveries that he uses. However, with the Indian batsmen, because of the experience that they have, because of the confidence that they have in their own abilities, they're able to watch and see what he's doing, pick the deliveries, and then take advantage of that. So now the teams move on to Florida, and we don't know what pitches we're going to get over there. That's something else as well. Another factor that the West Indies are going to have to compensate for.
Yeah, so we have 2 more T20 matches, Leighton, and what I do know is the fact that we were able to secure a win. I felt as if it would have given the Windies players a lot of confidence going into today's match, but then we saw a drop in that, and of course what I noticed is the moment that wickets started to fall, they panicked, and that's where we lost all our wickets. So I'm hoping that moving forward they can correct the errors and that we see a better showing for the next 2 matches. What do you know about the Florida pitches?
Nothing. I just think I don't. The reality is that in Florida those pitches could be anything. I know there's a strong cultural heritage that's developing in Florida now for cricket. Yeah. So we don't know if they're going to be flat. We don't know if they're going to be turners. So that is going to determine a lot of how well the West Indies play, because it's a pitch that takes spin. We're in trouble. Yeah. If it's a flat pitch, our bowlers are going to struggle. So, it's the only way I see the West Indies doing well in Florida is to get big scores and hope that our bowlers find that kind of consistency where they're able to not only take wickets, but to contain the Indian batsmen. And the only way to contain the Indian batsmen, I think, is to take wickets, because they're that good. I mean, when you look at Indian batting from top to bottom, they're all
world-class,
world-class batsmen. And remember that, Virat Kohli, as much as he's struggling now, is not in this team. And,
And look, even today, Rohit Sharma had a back spasm. He could have come out of the setup and still they chased the score with ease. So you see,
that's when you have quality all through and through, and you trust the quality. So this is going to be, it could be a good learning experience for the West Indies team on how best to navigate pitches, how best to navigate the conditions that you're playing, and to find a level of consistency that will allow the team to win more consistently. Because if you continue to have these fluctuating performances, it's not going to take the West Indies very far, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. What we do know for some time, Leighton, we had players like when it comes to bowling, that once you see them on, they would, you know, be a threat, like the Bravos and stuff once they took the ball. But now I feel as if we lack that threat, and of course I'm looking forward to see one of our bowlers step up and become that threat. Of course, viewers, we apologize. We did lose Fazeer Mohammed, and he did explain what has been happening with his internet. We hope to join him another day as we continue discussing West Indies cricket. Let's take a quick break.